About 15 miles outside of Alamogordo, New Mexico, between deep canyons and dense forests, a tiny white object can be seen above the trees on the crest of the Sierra de Sacramento. This is the Dunn Solar Telescope of the Sunspot Solar Observatory, an installation dedicated to the study of the sun. People usually do their business with little investment in the observatory in the tiny independent village of Sunspot, populated by researchers and employees of the Sunspot Solar Observatory. But on Thursday, September 6, 2018, the attention of what seemed to be the entire galaxy was focused here. Dr. James McAteer, director of the facility, gave the order to gather approximately 24 people in the place and take them down the mountain at the FBI's command. So, serious agents arrived in unmarked vehicles and quickly spread throughout the area. No information was given to the evacuees about what was happening. They were simply invited to leave. Even the sheriff's office in the town of Otero, whose agents accompanied the federal agents to the place, did not receive any information about why the FBI was there. They were told just to be ready to provide support if necessary, which alarmed the sheriff, who wondered what he and his men were doing, especially considering the black helicopters he reported having seen when the search was underway. The news of the sudden closure of a space research facility by the United States government became immediately viral. Many curious people assumed that the telescopes of the observatory, looking at the cosmos, could have detected something they shouldn't see. The perceived threat became more serious when rumors on the internet spread that webcams live from several observatories around the world had also suddenly fallen. The FBI and the observatory administration. The observatory remained the mother, as well as the employees and researchers associated with the site. But what the hell happened that made the FBI put an 11-day closure? And what did the researchers at the Solar Observatory find? There are a lot of wild theories. During the day, when the sun is shining, it acts as our blind spot, which means that if someone wants to wander around the planet, he can easily come from the direction of the sun without being caught. During the history course, there were several cases in which military strategists used bright sunlight to their advantage for surprise attacks. The sun's brightness is basically the loss of visual performance or discomfort produced by the intensity of sunlight in a larger visual field than the intensity of the light to which the eyes are adapted. The sun's brightness is used to avoid being detected because you can't look in the direction of the sun because it makes a lot of light enter your eye and interferes with the ability of your eye to manage it. Did astronomers detect something coming toward the planet Earth using the sun as a cover? If something mysterious is coming towards the planet, then the Solar Observatory had to be closed to keep the news secret, to avoid hysteria in mass and panic among the public. But then, no observation or discovery was shared by another observatory or monitoring station about something mysterious or dangerous towards Earth. But then, what kind of rules put this possibility? Another theory of the crowd prone to conspiracy has been that aliens made human contact. While looking at the cosmos, the Solar Observatory received some kind of signal or answer to the active messages that scientists have made in the last 2 years to take a look at a world that can withstand life beyond Earth. Scientists really found some kind of alien and are not sure if they are friendly explorers or destroyers of worlds, and that's why the authorities have tried to appease this to prevent information from being spread among the public. When the questions were asked to the director of the Sunspot Observatory and to the professor of the State University of New Mexico, he told local reporters that the installation telescope did not find non-terrestrial species of origin. He also said that no alien had been detected, and if any discovery of this magnitude is made, all data will be made public in its unaltered form. Some researchers are connecting the closing of the Solar Observatory with its most important primary function, the record of the activity of the sun. It is widely known that certain types of solar activities can affect life on Earth, one of which is an explosion of solar radiation known as coronal mass ejection. Although the chances of coronal mass ejection are very rare, you never know when the sun can surprise you. The coronal mass ejection is an explosion of solar and wind plasma coming from the sun and transports approximately 1 billion tons of material out of the sun at speeds of hundreds of kilometers per second. Compared to solar eruptions, which are electromagnetic radiation explosions traveling at the speed of light, reaching the Earth in just over 8 minutes. Coronal mass ejection travels at a slower pace, relatively speaking. At their highest speeds of almost 3,057 kilometers per second, they can reach the Earth in about 15 to 18 hours, while coronal mass ejection slower, traveling around 249 kilometers per second, can take several days to arrive. A coronal mass ejection can cause damage to energy networks, telecommunications networks, and satellites in orbit and expose astronauts to dangerous doses of radiation. The results of a tsunami of solar radiation particles can be very catastrophic, not only for living organisms on Earth but also for space due to such a large solar event. But as coronal mass ejections don't take so many days, we're safe from them, at least for now. But, much more worrying than that, is that astronomers may have observed a change in the size of the Sun, which is an indicator of the apocalypse, or in simpler words, the beginning of the end of our solar system. The Sun is a house of strength, the donor of life, but it is also a detonating bomb that can explode at any time. In the core of the Sun, hydrogen is being converted into helium, known as nuclear fusion. But at some point, the Sun will run out of hydrogen, drain the hydrogen fuel in its core and start burning helium, forcing its transition to a giant red star. As the hydrogen in the core runs out, the fusion rate of the core will decrease, reducing the forces that push it out. As a result, the gravitational force will be able to compress the Sun even more, thus increasing the pressure and temperature in the core, which again accelerates the fusion rate. This process of gravitational rebalance of the rate of diffusion will continue for some time, making the Sun hotter and hotter. As a consequence of the much higher temperatures in the core, the Sun will expand, which means that the Sun will gradually swallow Mercury, Venus, and probably Earth, and everything around it will be fried until it gets crunchy. While astronomers believe that our Sun is currently stable for at least the next 5 billion years, stars like the Sun in the universe have been observed to show erratic behavior, so we can't say for sure that our Sun will not surprise us at any time. The FBI must have sealed the Solar Observatory to cover any disturbing news that would cause panic to the public, and that would take time to think about what to do with the new discovery. Other plausible theories include that some kind of espionage was happening that the observatory discovered. Sunspots have expansive views of the base of the Air Force, Holloman, and the range of the White Sands missiles, both testing experimental aircraft and weapons. Theorists propose that someone was using the observatory equipment to spy on the bases or intercept transmissions. Internet detectives pointed out that a Chinese student had done research at the observatory earlier that summer. Could he be a spy? Less maliciously, it was also proposed that the observatory had captured some ultra-secret transmission from the government and was closed to interrogate researchers and scrub the evidence facilities. Whatever the preferred explanation, the ministry was reinforced by posts on webcams of other observatories as far away as the Canary Islands and Australia, which fell on the same day that Sunspot was evacuated, suggesting that other scientists had seen the same thing and were being silenced. Numerous unauthorized people entered the place while it was closed. Photos of these invasions were posted on YouTube, some by locals and others by people who had traveled far to investigate, and they revealed aerial drones and mysterious men walking around. While all these rumors and conspiracy theories were brewing, the Space Observatory was reopened after 11 days to continue observing the Sun. According to the authorities, it was closed as a precautionary measure for safety reasons. A police investigation of criminal activities occurred at the peak of the Sacramento. During this time, the FBI was worried that a suspect in the investigation could represent a threat to the safety of the local team and residents. For this reason, the installation was temporarily unoccupied and all scientific activities in the place were interrupted. The FBI was analyzing the activities of the individual who was using the wireless internet service of the National Solar Observatory Sunspot in New Mexico to download and distribute some photos and illegal videos. The authorities learned a laptop computer in the facilities that contained all the data. Then they observed a change in the behavior of the zealoter, who was acting frantically and questioned everyone about their missing items. The authorities framed Zelador and an investigation was launched, All evidence against him was collected and the observatory was opened after all the concerns of security have been dealt. While the official statement states that the closure had nothing to do with conspiracy theories on the internet, many researchers and astronomers are not sure if it was a security concern or something bigger and dangerous, and so the closure of the Solar Observatory of NASA until today remains a mystery. Tell us what you think in the comments section. Also like and subscribe to this channel. This will help us serve you better.